Hey everybody, it's Alexis. Welcome to the community. So glad you're here. So one quick tip on how to understand who your buyers are versus your fans. We get this question all the time because oftentimes artists don't realize that that's the first step to really growing a true long-term sustainable business with your art. So a lot of times it's done the other way around in other courses, mentorships, coaches, teaching how to market first when we don't yet know who your buyers are at a high level for your work. So number one, you're going to want to understand how to price your work. That is first and foremost, because pricing online is very different from pricing offline. So make sure you click the link to the video below this one to get more info on exactly how to approach your pricing for your online business. You will be so excited and relieved to learn this process because when you do it well, you really set yourself up for so much success and you create so much freedom around the fact that it's not about the price as much as you think it is. It's more, so much more about the promise of transformation your art is bringing to your buyers' lives. And notice I say buyers or investors, not everyone, not your fans, not everyone who just thinks your work is great and wants to support you from afar, your buyers. Those are the only people we're interested in. So at any given moment online, you're always going to have 80% of the people in front of you will be fans and 20% only of those people will be your buyers. So our job is to flip that and make sure that we're continuously bringing more buyers or investors at that mid to high level price point in front of you. So again, why that's so important? Check the video out that we have linked below in terms of how to approach pricing and why we need to price at a mid to high level. But the long and the short of it is this. If you lead with a low end offer, it is twofold not a good idea. First, it's not a good idea because it is the hardest thing to make profitable in an online business, a low end offer. Doesn't matter what anybody tells you. Yes, there are businesses who have done it and they've done it well, but they're few and far between because it is a heavy lift. And the truth of the matter is that you have to have a lot of resources to invest to just break even on selling the amount of volume you have to sell for a low end offer to become profitable. And then you have to take it to the next level and the next level. And to be honest, that works for product-based businesses more so than art. I'm going to say it again. Product-based businesses are focused more on that a lot of times. For art, unless you're looking, your art is not a product. So we don't view your art as a product. We view it as art. So it is possible to take that route if you're viewing your art as a product. Then by all means, you should go in that direction and test it because everything's a test and you can learn really what it takes to get that off the ground. But even if you are looking at your art as a product, I would encourage you to start in a smarter capacity with pricing, mid to high level, and get that established first. So let's talk about why. The reason is that when we're selling mid to high level, this is where we find the real buyers or investors. So let's talk about how we identify who they are and why that level of pricing is not the issue in getting them to invest. The reason people buy art to begin with is because there's a promise of transformation involved for them, for their lives. There's something so inspiring, so moving, so transformative about your work that they have to have it. So the investment is secondary. That's a different kind of objection to overcome, which we can discuss in yet another video. But for now, it's important to know it's not about the price as much as it is about the need. So that promise of transformation really comes from your story. When we're looking to understand who your buyers are online and understand who the buyer profile is, we are not focused on demographics because that's not what buyers for art have in common with each other. What investors or buyers for art have in common with each other is that promise of transformation it brings to their lives based on the theme of the work. The theme of the work comes from you, the artist, your story, where you're coming from, why you started to create to begin with, and it's a very important what you want to expand into artistically next. Because the evolution of your work dictates that. So it's right at the intersection of those two things, where you're coming from, why you started to create to begin with, and what you intend to expand into next, as if you had no limitations. That's where we find your buyer. So if you want to really get to the heart of that and start talking about that, we lead with that. It is as important, if not more so, than the art itself when we're trying to understand who your buyers are. So think about that for a second. It's as important, if not more important, than the art itself when we're understanding who your buyers are. So in order to, if you want to get that ball rolling and start to develop what's called your high-level promise of transformation, then take our signature story guide that's attached below. Go through that in its entirety, and then join our free community where we can walk you through how to create your high-level promise. It's so valuable to go through this and understand it, because if you start talking about your work from this point of view, I promise you, everything starts to shift. You will see a difference in the people that start to respond to you. You might even at times feel like you're starting over from scratch, and you might be, for all the right reasons. And the rewards you reap are quality over quantity in terms of those who are in front of you, who are there for the right reasons. So get that signature story guide below. Understand how to create your high-level promise. Join our free community. Let us help you out with that. And I can't wait to see you there. Quick question for you, though, before you go. Right now, without doing anything else, without thinking about it, without going into the guide, without anything, right off the top of your head, what do you think your high-level promise of transformation is in your work if you had to name it now? Post that in the comments below and let's see what you come up with. I can't wait to get into conversation about that with you.